Hey guys, Happy New Year. This is Z here, and I want to make an announcement that I am returning to video making at least weekly starting the New Year's. This is part of my resolution to make sure that I want to continue to share what I learned throughout the years to you guys on this channel. And over the years, I got so many comments from people, so it's really encouraging, and I want to continue to do that from now on. So look out for more videos coming from me, and this will be the first one to start off the new year. So if you look at my channel, about 7 years ago, I made a video about how to create a blog in 5 minutes with DigitalOcean. And that video, I can't believe it. It's been 7 years. Even though it's only had 2,400 views, it's one of the videos that got me started to continue on to create more different types of tutorials for people. So one of them was a DigitalOcean load balancer tutorial. So that was about 5 years ago. So time really flies. And today I want to do an update video on the product DigitalOcean. Now, I want to preface by saying that I am an affiliate for DigitalOcean. So if you do want to sign up for DigitalOcean, there's a link in the description for a $200 credit. If you want to use it, sign up risk-free. Just use the credit, $200 for you to explore, to try it out. So if you're ever thinking about hosting your website or your apps or even serverless home functions, try to use it. It's actually one of the best services I've used in my life, and I can attest that the team is wonderful. They have a lot of different meetup events in New York City. So one funny thing is that after this DigitalOcean load balancer video, they noticed the video and they DM me about coming to their office for a tour. So I actually went there and they gave me a lot of cool swag and really cool office. Now that was about 5 years ago, and I can tell that the company is actually becoming public. So DigitalOcean is a public company, and I think it will be a viable competitor to companies like AWS or Microsoft's Azure. So to me, I think DigitalOcean was built and created for developers. So if you are a developer, I think you'll find their service very, very useful. And here's why it's useful. So I am going to go into my control panel to show you that the droplets or servers that I've set up, well, I set that up about 5 or 7 years ago, and the server is still running. So I've been paying this whole time, and I've been a customer for so long. And I can attest that this is one of the best online hosting for all of your services. So here, I'm going to show you all the different types of services that they offer and what do you see when you sign into their control panel. So this is the main screen, the dashboard when you sign in. It tells you all the droplets. Well, the droplets is another word for server. So the name is DigitalOcean. So you have a droplet inside the ocean. So that's an analogy. And droplets are your servers. And when you hover, it tells you how big the size is, what's the location, and how much disk space does it have. As you can see, I'm in the lowest tier, and I've been using these servers for over 7 years. So they've been super reliable. I think the whole time it was down only once for maintenance. So other than that, it's been up the whole time. So to me, where I have my business and everything there, I think it's very, very useful to make sure that it's reliable. So I can tell you that its service is very reliable. And here are some of the domain names that you may have. So you can register the domain with something like GoDaddy or Namecheap, and then you can have DigitalOcean manage it for you. And doing this with the network, the domain name manager is very easy to point that to a specific server you have. So this is also very, very easy and intuitive when you use the service. So, but other than that, you have a lot of new starter shortcuts. So if you want to create a new service, a load balancer, a database, all of that is within your fingertips. And I think this is a lot superior than Amazon because Amazon has hundreds and hundreds of servers. Sometimes you don't know which one to pick. And DigitalOcean breaks it down very nicely for you. So you can, if you look at the left menu here, it tells you exactly what the categories are and what you want to use. So if I am a developer and let's say I want to, I want to set up a new app. Let's go to the apps section and see what happens. So if I click on this, now this is what they say here. Focus on code, not servers. So this is where you can actually try to deploy your application without worrying about setting up, code as a server. So when you have an empty server, right, like a specific server set up for your app, you usually have to install Node.js. Let's say if you have Node.js app or WordPress or Nginx, some sort of reverse proxy. like a lot of things you have to set up, and that takes tremendous amount of time. But with this, you can focus on your app and let DigitalOcean take care of all of that for you. Think of it as an image. They create the image for you, and all you have to do is upload or link your GitHub and automatically deploy your code there. So here, you can see that all the different availability regions that they have for DigitalOcean. So they are actually expanding very fast, and right now it seems like they have all the regions in the world covered in all time zones. And it's very, very good because this will make sure that your server is closer to your users, to yourself, or if you want that. So there's also security, TLS and SSL are all very easily set up in all your servers. So if you look at the pricing plan, it's very, very, very cheap. So for static websites, right? Now, let's say you have a static website. Static means there's no dynamic. It's just like maybe a blog, or if you have a website where for your portfolio, that's a very easy basic static website. So you have a starter plan, you get 3 basic static sites, $3 per month for additional site, and you get auto TLS and SSL. So you get for prototyping, $5 a month. This is like extremely cheap for prototyping. If you want to prototype anything, definitely go for this. Even for professional use, you could do it as well. So here, if you actually want serverless functions, you can do it here. So you get 50 free 25 gigabytes hours or 90,000 gigabyte seconds. So if you know anything about serverless functions, they are charged by per usage, and that's how it's charged. It's extremely cheap. So if you actually get millions and millions of hits, you still only pay a couple of dollars a month for this. So definitely think about this if you want to save money. So there you go. And then you have databases, you got development databases, or you got managed databases. So if you don't want to manage your own database, DigitalOcean can manage that for you. That's actually very similar to Amazon offers. So if you scroll down, you have a lot of different test apps that you can actually deploy. So here, let's say I want to start a Node.js application, that's all you need to do. Click on deploy. And then, if you want to get your source code from GitHub or GitLab or any of these things, you can click on them. But right now, if you want to pick a sample app, you click on next. This is a very standard, and I think the UI is very pretty. And here, if you want to change the different settings about this specific app, the different type of Node.js. So here you get a different type of Node-Pack, install, npm, enter shell commands. What ports do you want the app to run on? The command to start the app. So this is all set up for you. But if you want to add your own, like environment variables, you can definitely set it here. It will automatically be added to your server when it's starting up. And then go to info. Here you can do the name of the app, and then the different regions you want the app to be in. And also you have a global CDN, auto SSL, all of that set up for you. And then at the end, when you review, everything's good, you do create resource, and then you'll start. So here's how much it costs. It tells you right away, right here, how much it costs, $24. So all of this stuff, it's there for you at the start, and it's not just it's not just Node.js. You have so many different types to choose from. You get PHP, Python. You can even start from a Docker image if you're familiar with that. And here on the bottom, you got a list of functionless or serverless functions you can use to start all the different types of things. You want to, let's say, a SendGrid email function, do this. Twilio SMS. So this is a lot of things here. So it's quite powerful. I personally haven't used that yet, but I've always been on the Droplet plan. So let's go to the Droplet and see what happens. So in Droplets, you see a list of servers that you have created. So you can actually see what the status of your current server. So you can actually see the graph, the charts, the usage, the disk space. You can also access it remotely. If you click on this button, you'll actually start a browser-based session, SSH session into the server. So you don't even have to SSH into it. You can just do this. Or you can power it off remotely. Here, volumes, if you have a block volume storage attached, it will show up here, which I'll go into later. You can also resize it to dynamically make the server even more powerful. And then here, networking, you can set up the different types of networking with it, along with firewalls. And you can back up the servers. So if you want to back up your server anytime, do it. It's very cheap. Backup for this Droplet costs $1.20 a month. So to me, it's without a question of something to do every month. And then you can take snapshots here, take a snapshot. If I click on this, it will take a snapshot of everything on my server and then put it as a backup. And then here's kernel. I don't really go here, but history, you can see what happened. So it has automatic backup as well. And then you can destroy the server if you want. And then here you can tag the server and then you can recover the server from ISO or hard drive. So it's a very, very capable system in the server Droplets. So actually, if you want to create new Droplets, here's how you do it. You go to New Projects, you enter the projects, enter description, select the purpose, just try now, and then create projects. Oh, that's actually, you can have some namespace. If you have a team, you can have different people with different type of projects. So that's how you do namespacing in this here, but I'm gonna go back here. But yeah, that's how you do it. So I think it's been a while since I do this, but I think here you can do a create and then go to Droplets. So this is actually how I used to create servers. This is how I like to create servers. So I haven't used the app approach, but I like to set up the server myself, install everything myself. But you can also, in here, you can also select images. So let's say I want to be in New York, data center in New York. So they have 3 data centers in New York. And here you can pick the OS. Let's say I want Ubuntu for Linux. And then if you go to Marketplace, you can see different types of pre-built images. So you can actually have a WordPress on Ubuntu or cPanel. So this is like all set up for you if you want. These are pre-built. Or you can have snapshots or from your own existing servers. You can create a clone like that. But let me just go back to Ubuntu, and then let me pick the basic CPU. I want the regular SSD. So here, if you want like stronger, faster disk space, you can certainly pick that. But you see the plan, it goes as low as $4 a month. So you have a pretty basic server with $4 a month. So that I think you couldn't get any cheaper than that. So I think if you are any serious about this, you should definitely pick the most expensive. But for hobby prototyping, pick the lowest. It certainly works out. And then click on SSH key. So if you have existing SSH key, upload it to DigitalOcean. It will figure out for you, and then you can just pick one, and then it will just give you the SSH key. And then there's a bunch of these monitoring if you want. And here's one droplet. I want how many. You can select so many different ones. So it will automatically name them for you. Type your tags, and then you want to see which project do you want to file this under. And then if you select everything, you should be good to go. So right now, I am not gonna do it, but I'm just gonna let me just show you how easy it is, right? You just click on that and then click create droplets and everything, and then you just made a new server. And then they will email you a server password for the first time, but after that, you should definitely set up a SSH password based. I have a tutorial on my channel on that if you want to go for it. But let's continue on with the rest of the items on the menu. So we got functions. So functions are serverless functions, and this is something that's kind of trendy right now. A lot of companies are going into this to make their costs less when they do a server, and DigitalOcean offers that as well. And here you can easily go here to find out like what kind of serverless function you want, and you can actually have a test repo to figure out. They set up these example dummy functions to you. So you get different types of languages: Node, PHP, Python, and Golang. So this is definitely up to you what kind of function you want to create. And here it gives you the example. So you can actually see here, and this is the hello function, right? Very simple. And you can tell the different specs you have. You get the pricing, the range of pricing, and different kind of configuration you want for the different memory, and then different data centers. So you can certainly create a serverless function if you want. Just click on here, go to create, click on functions, and then you can create your serverless function. Very nice. Okay, let's go to Kubernetes. Kubernetes is one of those orchestration services for large-scale applications. So if you are familiar with Kubernetes, DigitalOcean it has a Kubernetes service. Comes with complete Kubernetes API, high availability control panel, and it's managed service. So you can actually have a managed Kubernetes service set up pretty fast. And if you know anything about Kubernetes, it's kind of a pain to set it up if you want to do it manually. So DigitalOcean offers something like this. So this is like what you need to do to create a Kubernetes cluster, and then you can add fleets of servers to it. And it's not that cheap, but if you are doing anything with Kubernetes, you should be at a big scale. So if scale is something you're looking for, this is what you need. And $72, it's very cheap for you. That gives you 3 nodes with 2.5 gigs of RAM and 4 gigs total with 2 virtual CPUs. I think that's a great price for it, and it's definitely cheaper than Amazon. Now, if you have a lot of storage on the server, let's say you have an image website with a ton of images or videos, you can use volumes. So volumes are block storage. Think of this as a S3 equivalent of AWS. So DigitalOcean offers that. So if you want to add extra space to your server, this is where you can go to add extra volumes. And the pricing wise, you can definitely have a specific, whatever size you want. So if you want 500 gig, that tells you how much it costs. So it's about, 100 gigs is $10. So I think this is certainly worth it, and I think it's actually cheaper than AWS. But don't quote me on that. You should do some math and figure it out. So you can actually choose a file system of the storage. Once you create a volume, you can attach it to your storage and then attach it to your Droplet, and then that will help you expand your storage on your server. I haven't used it yet, but I think this is going to be very useful when your website scales. Now, one of the big things that every website needs is a database. So databases on DigitalOcean is also comes as a managed service. Of course, if you don't want to get managed, you can always create your Droplet, install MySQL or something to it, and manage it yourself. But in my opinion, that's a lot of work. It takes a very time consuming, and when your database goes down, you need to duplicate or copy or scale. It's a pain in the ass. But if you have a managed database service, it all comes with a very simple UI where you can go in there and easily replicate your database, back up your database, and you can do point in time recovery. So if your database went down an hour ago, you can go back in time to an hour ago in the database, and you will have everything. So if you do anything production level, definitely go with a managed database. And this is me talking with 10 years of experience in the industry. Definitely go with a managed database to save yourself some time and headache. So DigitalOcean offers that as well. Spaces, I actually haven't seen what spaces are. I don't know what spaces is. Let's see, create unlimited spaces. I don't know what spaces are, so but I'll have to get back to you on that once I know. Oh, spaces is an S3 compatible object storage service that lets you store and serve large amount of data. Oh, so it's kind of like a bucket. Oh, okay, it's like a bucket with CDN on top of it. So I think that's another competitor to S3, but I haven't looked into it. You should definitely look into it to see. Container registry, so this is very similar to like a Docker hub where you can push your Docker images and stuff. And I think this is how you do it. It's like a private repo for protect sensitive software. So it's definitely good for Kubernetes customers if you want to add your own repository registry for your images. So I have not found the need for that because I do not need this yet. Images, okay, another images. So if you have anything droplets, you definitely have this is not talking about pictures, this is talking about backup images, like a snapshot of your server. So for anything production related, you should definitely back up your server every once in a while. And here I have a bunch of services. I should probably remove some of these because they cost money. So you can delete server snapshots if you want. This one like 2 years ago. So certainly do that, but this is where you manage all your images. If you want to, rename it, create a droplet based on this image, right? That's super awesome. Add this image to a region, we'll transfer the snapshot, we'll restore, we'll delete. So you can manage your images here. Networking is where you go to do load balancing and domain name management. So if you have domain that you bought from other services, you can come here, add them to here, and then point them from your domain registrar to DigitalOcean's name server, and then you can manage your domain names here. And then here you got reserved IPs, private VPC, firewalls, PTR, load manager. This is super awesome. Like this is everything you need to scale, to start your app, to make your app work. And then finally, monitoring. This is where you go. You can create alerts for all your servers. So if let's say I have an alert here, right? So if the memory utilization is over 85% for 5 minutes, send me an email or text me or do something. It will actually be able to, do all of this stuff for you. Like you can set up like really good. You can connect to Slack if you want to, alert you or whenever there's a high usage or something. So this is critical if you want to do any sort of monitoring to your servers. So it comes free with all the basic plan. And then lastly, you have a bunch of add-ons. I have not looked into it, but these add-ons are like super, super nice with different companies, like Papertrail for logging, status list for monitoring. So if you want expand the capability of your applications on DigitalOcean, DigitalOcean has partnered up with all of these companies to give you extra capabilities on your server. So you can't beat that. This is so intuitive, so easy. And then lastly, from the bottom here, we got some billing, support, setting, and API. And everything you want to do here, it's available in the API. So if you want to script or automate some of these stuff, definitely take advantage of the API, and that will help you automate a lot of process. So with that said, if you like DigitalOcean and want to give it a try, check out the affiliate link in the description below, and tell me what you think about this DigitalOcean service. I've been using it for about 10 years, and I'm a very, very happy customer. In fact, I bought a ton of their stocks because I believe in the company. So if you like the company, let me know, and I would love to hear from you. With that said, my name is Z, and I will see you guys in the next video.